Think about it, and from what I've heard, wow, okay. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Investing with Edwin, and today we're going to be talking about 5 steps that you can start taking in order to start improving yourself financially. But before we start, make sure to give this video a like for the YouTube algorithm so other people can start noticing this YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't, and turn on that notification button when I have a next video. Like always, I appreciate all the support. Now let's get on with the video. So when trying to become financially literate, you have to take steps in order to actually make progress. You can read, you can learn, you can do all these things, but if you don't start taking action, you'll eventually never go anywhere. But taking action and doing something is better than just reading, learning, and not doing anything at all. And that is what we're all about in this channel. Starting on our list, number 1, we have start canceling all your debt. Debt can be a very useful tool if you know how to use it right, but most people don't. And so this leads to this American debt statistic in which it shows that 80% of Americans have some kind of retail debt, and that is actually pretty insane. Now, some people may not be struggling with that debt, but there are many people that still continue to suffer from debt, and having these high interest rates leads them to continue having debt, and it's a continuous circle that many people have been struggling with for a long time. One main form of debt is through credit cards, and most people start using these credit cards to where they get to their credit limit. But my opinion and my personal advice for you would be to only use your credit card if you have that money in your actual debit account or your checking account. And an extra tip that I can give you is that you don't want to use your credit card that often. So you might want to use it at the most minimum that you can. You know, using your credit card at the minimum and just showing that you have some kind of credit to hold allows your credit score to go high. And another piece of advice that I can give you is to try to pay off your credit card to 0 every month. Because usually credit cards have about 1 year in where you're not charged with interest. But after that, these credit cards have this 24% APR, which forces you to pay interest for $1 or $2 that you haven't paid in that month. So always leave your credit cards 0 at the end of the month. Second on the list, I have start managing your budget. Now, I know this sounds weird because it's not something that you usually talk with friends or with coworkers, out at lunch, but it's something that you really should consider. You'd actually be really surprised to see how much you spend in the week and in the month on things that you really don't even need. By managing with a limit, you could start budgeting and start putting more money in your pockets instead of losing money throughout the month. Now, let me use this example, and I understand that people have different incomes, some higher and some lower, but for the sake of this example, I'm going to use simple numbers. Now, let's say that you have $500 that you make within a week, and you start using that money to buy things that you need throughout the week, like groceries and stuff, and let's say you're out $500 and you have no money left after the week. But instead, if you were to start budgeting and you lower your expenses to $400, this means that you start saving $100 per week, meaning that you start saving $400 a month. And this means that you start saving up to $4,800 per year. And I know that doesn't sound as a lot when you think about it for the long term, but it's still money that you're saving and it can be used for better things. And that is one of the simple keys on how to start making wealth. Making more money than you actually spend. If you're making more money always instead of what you actually spend, you're gonna start consistently building wealth. Now, back then, you would actually have to write it on a piece of paper or get a notebook to actually realize and look at your bank statements and start trying to make a budgeting plan. But I have a simple plan for you, and I personally use this, and I wish I was sponsored by them, but I use this app called Mint. Now, Mint allows you to collect all your savings, all your debit cards, your credit cards, your investments, and it puts them all into this one app that you can see where it shows you your actual net worth, and it shows how much you owe in your credit cards, how much you have in your current debit account, how much you have in your current savings account, and it's a really cool app that I would really and strongly recommend for you to use. Now, keep in mind that you can't really track cash on this, so all the cash that you have and that you spend spend, it's not really tracking that. But if you're using your debit card a lot, or your credit card, or your savings account, it can track that all down. And I really like Mint because it divides it into categories for you to start budgeting. Now, let's say, for example, you want to waste $100 in the month on gas. It will notify you and tell you when you have gone over your budget, or if you've kept yourself in the budget for that month. And I think that's really cool for you to use in the technology that we have today in order to start budgeting and trying to improve ourselves financially. Like I said, budgeting is a really good tool and a really good way for you to start improving yourself financially if you are serious in trying to make wealth and trying to become a better person overall. Number 3 on the list, we have making an emergency fund. Now, keep in mind that this is way different from your actual savings account. An emergency fund that I'm talking about is a fund that you will have in where you'll have about a certain amount of money that will cover you just in case you lose your job, or just in case you're not working or not making money. You have that emergency fund to pay for your bills and for your expenses and necessities throughout the month. And the best way I can show you this is like during COVID back in 2020. I mean, it's still going on, but like during that time in where many people lost their jobs, I am almost positive that many people did not have an emergency fund and had to use their savings or investing accounts to pay the bills and to pay for things that they were not prepared to pay for during that pandemic. And although the likelihood of another pandemic rising out of nowhere again is very minimal, the emergency fund is still good for things like your car breaking down, or breaking a window from your home, or breaking your phone, or something of necessity for you. And you have that emergency fund to cover you instead of having to take straight up cash from your savings or from your investments, or maybe you don't even have the money in your bank account currently to be paying for those kind of emergencies. Now, the emergency fund amount that should be in that fund is really dependent on you. My personal suggestion would be for you to at least cover 3 months worth of food and groceries and rent if possible. It would take time to build this, but once you build this emergency fund, you can be assured that you'll be covered just in case your car breaks down, or you can't pay rent for the month, or you can't pay for groceries. Number 4 on the list, we have stop and cancel a lot of the subscriptions that you have. According to Forbes magazine, the average American has about 3.4 subscriptions. Now, this is kind of insane because if you think about it, $10 per subscription, you're basically putting in $30 a month for subscriptions for some entertainment, or for some music, or maybe even for some Chegg, in college. A lot of students use Chegg these days. I'm not going to say including myself, but maybe. And I'm not saying to cancel all your subscriptions, but I'm saying to take in consideration how many subscriptions are you actually subscribed to. A lot of them aren't even used. You might have Netflix, Hulu, and Disney Plus. You might be paying for Spotify and Apple, and you might be paying for all these subscriptions and you don't even use them. And this is my personal opinion, but if you have a lot of subscriptions, they probably will take a lot of your time, whether it's through entertainment, or I'm not saying music, but mostly through entertainment, whether it's Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus or Paramount or all these new, subscriptions for streaming services. But these take time, and instead of having all these different subscriptions to different things, you might, cancel those subscriptions and actually start putting in that time that you would use to watch a movie or a show, and put it into something else that's more beneficial for you and improve yourself as a person and overall your finances as well. Now, last on the list, we have number 5, which is stop spending and start saving. Now, in this case, let's say, for example, you're trying to buy a pair of jeans, or you're trying to buy some shoes. Instead of buying them right away, you make this little fund, or you make this little savings in where you get to that certain goal and then you buy it. Now, an interesting fact that I heard was that it's easy for people to start buying right away at an instinct. So what they suggest is that if you want to buy something that may be really expensive, you might take 2 weeks to actually wait and see if you actually want to buy that product. And if in 2 weeks you still want to have those pair of jeans or those shoes, then by all means go for it with the savings that you've had in that little, fund. And although this really doesn't work with food because you can't decide in 2 weeks if you were hungry at the time or not, because you are hungry and you have to eat. But instead of doing that with food, you can stop going out or stop spending so much on fast food, on restaurants, on Starbucks, you know, all these kinds of things. And here are some examples to show it to you. If you buy Starbucks every day for $5, you know, 1 cup of coffee in the morning, and you spend five, that's $25 in a week, and that's $50 in 2 weeks, and that's $100 in a month. And this is just a huge expense that really shouldn't be in your budget. But because you are too lazy to maybe make coffee or something, you start spending this amount of money. Or going out to eat lunch every single day at your work or at your job, you spend $20, $10, and this amount starts adding up. So instead of spending all this money on all these excessive amount of eating, you can start and maybe limit yourself, which is part of the budgeting, but also saving, you know, saving that money to put it into work, into the investments of the stock market or other things. In the end, it's all about having a good balance in where you choose the things that are more important, like groceries, like gas, like mortgage payments, like rent, like cell phone bills, all these bills. It's better to have you know, your money pay these things and have some money left over, instead of prioritizing things that you don't really need and having to go paycheck by paycheck trying to make ends meet when it comes to your bills and the important necessities. And that's all I have for today's video. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a like, and I will see you in the next YouTube video. As always, I appreciate all the support.